This is Halloween, and if you love going to cemeteries and learning about the history of cemeteries, you may want to subscribe, because I'm going to be taking you somewhere new every week. Today we will be visiting the St. Bartholomew Episcopal Cemetery, established sometime in the 1800s, right here in St. Petersburg. Enjoy! So the first place I was going to go to eat is actually closed on Mondays. Like most things, closed on my days off. And so me and my husband actually hit this burger joint not too long ago, a few months ago, and I'm going to try it again. I forgot the name of it, but I ended up over in this part of St. Pete, and it's a really cute burger joint, and they have really good, unique flavor profiles on their burgers, like apples and brie or just stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It's a really neat little atmosphere, and it's actually also an apartment home. So in the bottom, on the first level, it's a little burger joint that's really good, and they actually have a really great selection of beers. So maybe it's a good thing that Mullet's wasn't open, because I get to go here now, which was actually very good, and I totally forgot about it until now. I see the name of it right now. It's called the Beer Boutique in St. Petersburg. We're gonna go in and get a bite to eat. Look how cute the little building is. Just very kind of posh and modern, but inside looks really cool. One thing's for certain, if you're gonna live in St. Pete or visit St. Pete, you better know how to parallel park in the streets, because there's literally no parking. Look at the little ducks crossing the road. It's a whole family. How cute. There's a lot of ducks here, and there's a beautiful little park right across the street. They do have patio seating out here too. So if you just wanted to sit out on the patio, they have a beautiful view of the park with the fountain. Little ducks everywhere. Look at these ducks. Oh, a whole little family, so beautiful. Little baby ducks. So yeah, it's a really great place to come with family, or just with your husband, wife, or significant other. Let's go in and get a bite. Like I said, it's been a while since we were here. The Beer Boutique. It's got boutique prices too, let me tell you. Isn't it food in here? Good music. I'm gonna sit right up at the bar. The Beer Boutique, now it's spelled B-I-E-R, like the German spelling. It's a great place to eat. Like I said, it's a little pricey, but unlike some places that's really pricey and the food just doesn't match up, this place you're getting what you're paying for. As you could see, my sandwich was stacked high with roast beef, had caramelized onions, Swiss cheese, and an awesome stone ground mustard on top, on sourdough that was nice and crispy, and the cucumber salad that I had was actually delicious. It had a kind of sweet, spicy tang to it, and perfectly marinated, not saturated in the marinade. So what I got was $31 with tip. It was a $17 sandwich, but it was worth every penny. So if you're in the area, I highly recommend stopping by the beer boutique. I got into the cemetery. I was a little concerned because the 2 side gates are locked with a padlock, but there's a wide open gate right here. There are no trespassing signs at this cemetery, so I'm sure it's open to the public. It's really more of a graveyard than a cemetery because there is a church on premise. The St. Bartholomew Episcopal Church is right here, whom I was just calling to see if they could let me into the cemetery, but there was no answer. So I'm glad I was able to get in. Like I said, it seems to be open to the public. Just you have to enter through the front gate rather than the side gates. So good to know. Let's get into this cemetery, see what we can see. It's right off a busy street, so I'm gonna try and get off the busy road here so that you can hear me when I'm talking. But it's a very well-kept cemetery. Looks very well-kept. I imagine because it is owned by the church that they are the ones who maintain it. Grass, leaves a lot to be desired. It looks like my grass in my yard. But as far as, it's not overgrown and it's very nice. That's awesome. I saw some of these headstones in here. I was like, I have got to go to that cemetery. It really has some nice ones. And there is a famous person buried here. He was a Civil War Medal of Honor recipient. I imagine he's one of these taller memorials over here. But you can see here with this headstone that the cemetery does date back quite a bit. 1800s. Leake. Here is a Leake family plot. L-E-A-K-E. That goes way back to the 1800s. Early 1900s. It is a gorgeous day for the cemetery. It's just so perfect outside. Theodore Winthrop Weston, 1862 to 1919, and an Edith Herrick Weston, also a Mary Bovell Lewis, while passing away in the mid-1900s there. This is a very old plot, although the headstone looks nice, looks newer actually. Here's a Southerst. I've never heard that last name. William and Eliza Southerst. Wow, what a cool cemetery. I'm so glad I found this. It's awesome. So much history here. You can see some of these middle memorials are a lot older. I like this sort of headstone here. It's a footstone actually, but Charles and Grace Stanton. Just kind of neat. Looks like a book. It's oxidized, so it has that green tint to it, just like the Statue of Liberty. But that's really neat. I'm still in the front of the cemetery. Haven't made my way to the back yet. Wow. It's so crazy because I've looked online for cemeteries in St. Petersburg and all that pops up are the ones that I've already been to. These didn't come up on the radar at all, so I don't know why that is. But I'm so glad to be here and that I found this because there's so much history here. It's so cool. Here's a nice big memorial. Captain W.C. Geary Jr., it looks like, of Somersetshire, England, who died at St. Petersburg, Florida, December 26, 1894. That right there is giving us an idea of when the cemetery was established. Here's an 1893 Herbert Smith, who died October 7th, 1893, and Ethel, daughter of the above, who died April 27th, 1893, aged 9 months. There's a bit of a family plot here. Not sure about the design of this one so much. You know, kind of looks a little phallic, but I mean, still beautiful. I mean, that is a solid piece of marble there. And this is a family plot as well. Looks like they have the big memorial, and then they have these smaller places here, these smaller headstones and footstones to mark where the departed are actually laid to rest. So you see that often in cemeteries. But this is the Pheil family plot. P-H-E-I-L. Episcopal, I think, is Catholic. I'm pretty sure. When I called, it sounded like a nun that was on the... I don't know what a nun sounds like, but it sounded like it could be a nun that was on the voicemail. Louise Close and Esther. These are older too. 1910 and 1967. Here's a Custer and another Close. So Close is a name in this cemetery. As I said, we're right off the road here, so it's kind of busy, high traffic area. I thought this one was cute. It says, "Our Sailor Boy." So maybe in the Navy or Coast Guard. Our Sailor Boy. These are some older headstones too. John Thomas. Looks like a Thomas family plot. We have a Catherine Thomas. And one I can't read. Dehan family plot, another name I've really never heard. We got a Frederick Abbott, a William, Arthur, and Olive. Temple. October 18th, 1963. I think that, well, I don't know where the Civil War veteran is buried. I haven't seen him come up yet. So he could be over on this part of the cemetery, I'm not really sure. It says that the famous person buried here was named John F. Chase. He was born on April 23rd of 1843 and died November 28th in 1914. So he wasn't the first burial here, but he was a Civil War Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. I see a really interesting spot way back in the corner of the cemetery. I'm going to check it out because I think he may be buried over there. That looks cool. I've been to a lot of cemeteries, like especially the bigger ones, where they'll have certain areas for like Jewish or even different denominations of Christianity and religions, and all the headstones are real close together, and it looks so cool, especially if it's on a hill. This kind of reminds me of that. We've got a Putnam over here. I think this is the back side of the church here. It doesn't look like a church, it looks like a big house. Only the A-frame in the center kind of is reminiscent of a church. I think this is kind of a continuation of the church. Over here, this sort of barn-like structure. It's an old church, clearly. Look how cool this is. Susan Wheatley, daughter of Dr. John Bainton and Susan Carey Abercrombie. I didn't know that was the last name. This is an Abercrombie. Two of them here, and another Bainton over there. Another Susan Abercrombie. Huh. Maybe a mother and daughter? Well, this is not the plot I was thinking it might be, but it's definitely very cool. These were some of the first interments here, it looks like, too. Some of them. This one went past in 1899. 1934. That one definitely 1899. I think the one we saw in the beginning of the cemetery is actually the oldest I've seen so far. I found him, John F. Chase, Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. And he just has a very modest footstone here, but beautiful headstone for the family. It is a family plot, the Chase family. Here's John F. Chase. Let's see, 1843 to 1914. So this is actually this one over here, the footstone looks newer than this one. But it's a couple of place markers here for him. Wow, really cool. I mean, that was a very important man in life, and that he's buried here in this modest little cemetery always surprised me. There's Alina M. Chase, Maria C. Chase, John F. Chase, and Beulah Chase. That's a pretty name. B-E-U-L-A-H. Beulah. Well, it's not a big cemetery. I took a lot of photographs, and I'm happy to have found who I was looking for. But now I'm going to get out of here and do some Christmas shopping. I hope you enjoyed the cemetery, and I'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope you loved the cemetery and the great place to eat that's not too far from the cemetery. It's just amazing. The cemetery offered so much more than I even expected. It was a great cemetery, a historic cemetery, and really beautiful, nicely kept. A lot of really cool old headstones, and it was just a really beautiful day for a stroll through the cemetery. If you haven't noticed, my background has changed back to the original. I took a while off because basically I had to. My son was in need of a better job and wanted to find his own place and all of this. And I had spoken to him on the phone a few times, and he just got sadder and sadder. So I was like, why don't you just come over and live with me again until you saved up enough money to get your own place. So on top of the 2 hurricanes that were pretty much back to back that the state of Florida endured, where we were just basically right in the path of it, and my son staying in my Halloween room, which is where I film everything, I just took time to offer him, a place to stay. He's working with me now where I work, and he's doing a great job, and he recently got his own place. I just moved him in yesterday, so I can now have my room back and feel better about filming and all of that. With him here, it was just kind of difficult, and I was willing to take that hit because he's my son and I love him, and I wanted him to have a place to stay until he got on his feet and was doing better, and he is, and I think he's content. He likes his job, and his new place is really nice. So I'm in a better place now, mentally, physically, to continue with the channel, and from this point forward, we will resume our normal schedule, which every Sunday I put out a cemetery video. I go to different cemeteries all over the place, sometimes even out of state. And then like the 3rd week in December, I'll put out another decades video, and you're going to want to catch that. It's going to be a cool one this year. And then we'll resume January, February, March, and April. I'll do 1 video each month, and then into May, I'll try to resume taking back my regular schedule of a costume a week. It's going to be tricky with a full-time job, but I'm going to try and do the best that I can. If I miss one here or there, I'm just going to give myself that leeway because it's kind of stressful and I work a lot. I really want to continue on with the channel. I'm so appreciative to all of you new subscribers and old subscribers that have stuck with me through the years, the 2.5 years or whatever I've been doing this. I really appreciate you, and I hope that all of you are well and that you're still enjoying the content that I'm putting out. That does it for today's episode. I'll see you next time.